Namaskar friends, this is NJ, your host on this channel. In this video, we will have our discussion on a real life case study through palmistry. So like the way guys, I always say this thing that if you need to measure or assess the influence of the planets in someone's life, all the mystic sciences will align and point in the same direction. So if your sun is strengthened in your natal chart, so a face reader will say the same thing, a palmist after looking at your palm will say the same thing, and a numerologist from the numbers will predict or will say the same thing. So in the similar lines only guys, I did a reading for someone recently, and the person has got such a beautiful markings in the palm, some distinctive signs. So I just asked the permission that can I make a video on the same palm of yours, aligning it and connecting it with your astrological chart in order to present it as a case study. So I got the permission, and this is what we will be doing today in this video. So guys, just because if you are new to the science of palmistry, you might find it initially a little bit difficult, but with the passage of time, and if you will follow palmistry concurrently, simultaneously with astrology, you will definitely start seeing the resemblance over there as well. So guys, we will start our discussion. First, I will give you a brief overview of the natal chart of the same person, just giving you a brief insight that the person belongs to the field of financial crime compliance. So now the minute you will open up the details, I always say this thing that even before looking at the ascendant chart, you have to first assess the Panchang, the day on which the person is born, the Hindu tithi, lunar tithi, var, yog, karan. So you have to take into consideration everything. Like for all those people who are very much inclined and devoted towards their research in the nakshatra, it's a highly appreciable, commendable thing that so many Westerners are doing much better job when it comes down to the research and their findings on nakshatra. And I'm very much sure that all those people who are very much connected with the community, which all people I'm referring over here, there is this girl, Claire, her surname starts from N, if I'm not mistaken, Vic Dekara. So many people are doing a very good job. But guys, again, I would say this thing that if you actually want to understand the influence of the planets, or if you even want to decode the overall comprehensive functioning of the moon through the Vedic glass, Vedic magnifying glass, you have to include other limbs of the moon as well. So not only the nakshatra, weekday, and the tithi, yog, karan, everything is equally important. So guys, basis the details which we will be soon seeing, I'm just reading out the Panchang. So in the Panchang, native is born on the Shukla Panchami. So that means moon was waxing and it was on the 5th day. Now Panchami is connected with the Nagas, where we talk about that these natives tend to have a strong capacity to do something which either involves chemicals or arbitration or doing all those jobs which are otherwise considered as very hard, ferocious. Nakshatra is Puru Bhadrapada. Again, Puru Bhadrapada is being ruled by the planet Jupiter. All the Aja Ekapada, the presiding god qualities. After that, the person is born on a Saturday. So that means the lord of the Saturday, that weekday, is the planet Saturn. So we are seeing somehow that the energy, ferociousness is coming into a picture from all the verticals of the Panchang. Then the yog is Variya, and this is a yog which generally when we talk about the energies of the Kuber, the god of wealth. And the Karan is Balav. So again guys, Balav also has something to do with the qualities of, like when we talk about creativity, doing something very good in your line of work. So all these are the qualities which are aligning towards someone who has the capacity to be a law enforcer or doing some hard, ferocious jobs. Now let's look at the Lagan chart. So now guys, if you look at the Lagan, the person is born with the Leo rising. And because if you have to understand the personality, which all planets are aspecting the ascendant, where the ascendant lord has gone. So ascendant lord being the planet sun has gone to the 5th house, and it is conjunct with the Venus over there. Now guys, definitely sun becomes the Atmakarak planet as well because of its degree. That is the one thing. Second thing, because ascendant lord going to the 5th house, the whole focus is going towards the attributes of the 5th house. which tells about Pur Punya, good deeds done by the native in the past lifetime, honor, prestige, recognition, visibility, being in the limelight will definitely become very important, and native will definitely be in the pursuit of the acquisition of the knowledge. Second thing is that look at the second house, like Jupiter and Saturn are conjunct over there. Like if you're somehow your field is connected with the finance, and we are talking about crime compliance, so Jupiter is significator of finance in the house of finance and compliance, so Saturn is also placed over there. You look at the sixth house, you get all the answers. Mars and Ketu are conjunct very strongly, and Mercury is also placed over there. So someone who can be very good in his or her line of work, specifically where exertion of authority, doing hard job, all this could be the domain of the native. Rahu is also placed in the 12th house. Definitely guys, like if you have to like investigate something, we always say this thing, like Rahu being in the 12th house, being in the Cancer, either it will make you a criminal by yourself, or it can make you a successful crime investigator as well. So, and along with that guys, if you look at the moon is placed in the 7th house in the Aquarius, and it is in the Purva nakshatra. So this is what the brief overview of the natal chart is. Now let's look at the palm of the same person. Now guys, definitely because I could have done the same analysis just via showing you the palm only, palm image, but just because for all those people who are either you are a cynic when it comes down to the authenticity of the palmistry, or you are just starting up with the palmistry. So if we will have both the things at the same time in front of us, it will make your learning and understanding much easier. So now guys, first thing is that whenever we are doing the palm analysis, definitely you have to see first the shape of the palm. So looking at the shape of the palm, we are definitely getting the symbology of the fire shape of hand, rectangular shape of the palm, and comparatively smaller fingers. Fire shape, the lagna in itself is Leo. Second thing is that now pay attention to the important prominent symbols on the palm. So guys, any analysis always first start with the looking at what is happening with the three major lines. Now if you will first look at the lifeline. So first of all, for all those people who are new to astrology, I mean to say palmistry, so lifeline, as the name suggests, does not only tell about your age or longevity, it also tells about the quality of the life, conditions, state of your health, and major important events of your life. So now guys, like the way as you can see over here, that lot many lines from the mount of the Venus, like this is the mount of the Venus, so lot many lines are crossing from over there, and they are being spread all around the palm. So that in itself is called as the Rahu Rekha. So that tells about that whatsoever you will try to do, you have to face intermittent like obstacles, or life will be filled with challenges beyond doubt. But the thing is that lifeline is still dark. So that in itself means that there's not much vulnerability, that the problems are going to overpower you, overwhelm you. But yes, it's not like a very smooth life, 9 to 5 job, easy, cozy, comfortable life. Yes, challenges will be there all the time. Second thing is that let's look at the headline. So now guys, over here as well in the headline, you need to do a very thorough analysis of it, because it is a unique hand and the lines are a little bit different. That is the only reason I mentioned this thing, why I'm saying this thing. So the headline, first of all, if there is a gap between the lifeline and the headline at the beginning, that in itself makes your personality dynamic, extrovert, confident. Second thing is that now if you will see over here, we can see that the lifeline is somehow is in a forked kind of combination. Now guys, whenever we have this kind of combination, and even if you will look at one of the fork which is going towards the mount of moon, it is kind of forming a kind of a fish kind of symbol as well. So again guys, that in itself tells about that when we talk about any of the concerns of like travels and all of that, and again with this as well, I will still say this thing, that the Jupiterian energy is working constructively in her life. Now definitely if you will look at the LAGAN chart, Jupiter is placed in the Virgo sign. But again, if you will go by the Jupiter's placement in the second house, it is the Karaka of that, and the moon nakshatra in itself is of Purva, of being ruled by the planet Jupiter. I have always seen this thing in my research, that fish symbol is nothing, just the prominence of the Jupiterian energy in someone's chart. And same way we can relate it with the palm as well. Fish symbol means Jupiter energy is working constructively. And how it is working? Because it is somehow aligned or connected with the headline. So that in itself is the very first validation which we will get. So again guys, because it's a fork kind of combination, one line is going straight on towards the outer mount of Mars as well. So Martian qualities are very strong. And second thing is that like someone who would be very good in like very unrelentingly very strong, like when it comes down to enforcing authority, enforcement of law, rules, regulation, person could be very good in that. Like the way, for example, see, no matter how much I pretend to be, but sometimes I become soft when it comes down to taking strict action when I am seeing the person in front of me is weak, is going through problems, is crying in front of me. But they're like those people with a prominence of these kind of combination, Mars Ketu in the 6th house, Saturn strengthened, straight headline, they are very strict in terms of rules, regulations, stats, numbers. They are very strong with that, very particular, very strict with that. Now guys, after this, the main thing which I wanted to show over here, like the way at the time when I mentioned this thing, that she has got the ascendant lord in the 5th house, that in itself tells about Purva Punya, good deeds from the past life. Now if you will look at in the palm, so there is a very good book on palmistry written by Ghanshyam Birla, Love in the Hands of the Palm, and he has written 2-3 books. Amazing book. If you have interest in palmistry, I will strictly recommend that book. Like, you know guys, they are like those books which you write for the sake of the spread of knowledge, and they're like those books which the writer has put his heart and soul into it. That is the kind of reverberation which you get from that. That is the kind of knowledge and energy which you get from that book after reading that book. So Ghanshyam Singh Birla ji, in his lifelong dedication, devotion to the science of palmistry and research, has called this Rekha as the Purva Punya Rekha. If any line from the outer mount of the Mars and it goes towards the Apollo finger, so sun line in a way originating from the outer mount of Mars, he has labeled it as the Purva Punya Rekha. So the person has got that Rekha in the palm. Second thing is that guys, even if you will look at in the palm, specifically the mount of moon, because mount of moon can also be divided into 3 regions as well, like Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. So if you will see in the Rajas section of the mount of the moon, you will find lot many prominence of the lines over there. So that also tells about that yes, mind is very active, very learned, and in the pursuit of more knowledge, and when it comes down to taking some harsh, strict actions, which is completely in alignment with the Panchang as well. The war, when native is born is a Saturday, Nakshatra is the Purva Bhadrapada, Tithi is Panchami. So everything is aligned in the similar lines only. Along with that guys, if you will look at what is happening in the palm as well, in other regions. So like the way guys, if you will look at the mount of the sun, over there you will find a slight combination of sun line with one fork, one branch going towards the mount of Mercury as well. So again, any line from the sun line, when it diverges towards the mount of Mercury or the little finger, that also tells about that you have this capacity to have some commercial gains because of the talents which you possess. So I do not know that the native has got some extracurricular side hustle, side hobby, side activity or not, but if native has that, that can be turned into a business model as well. Along with that guys, if you will look at in the on the upper mount, so specifically on the at the end, the native does not have a it's a slight griddle of Venus, which is getting formed over here. That also tells about it acts like a sister heart line, which tells about the emotions and feelings of the native is little bit intense. Along with that guys, if you look at on the palm, so definitely Rahu Rekhas are all spread all around the palm. Along with that, when we talk about on the mount of Rahu, there are like some more the signs which are there on the mount of Rahu. They do not look like to be very because there are like lot many crisscrossing lines which are there on the mount or region of the Rahu on the palm. So in native's birth chart, Rahu is placed in the Cancer in the 12th house. So for like when we talk about the inner insecurities or hidden threat, people who are secretly envious of you, they pretend to be your friend on your face, but behind your back they might have ill intentions against you. Now guys, even if you will look at the Lagan is in the sort of Papkatri yoga as well. Leo is in the middle, Rahu on one side and Saturn on another side. So that we can get to know from the mount of Rahu as well. That is very prominent. So yes guys, that was just a basic overview which I wanted to give you. And yes, mount of Mars is very, very prominent. Whether we talk about the inner mount of Mars or whether we talk about the outer mount of Mars, that is very, very prominent. And along with that guys, when we talk about power, dynamism, confidence and all, conviction and all, we get that idea from so many areas on the palm. So on the palm, thumb looks very robust. There is a gap between the lifeline and the headline at the origin. And along with that guys, like the way I mentioned this thing, moon is there in the 7th house. So even in the palm of the person, there is a thing called, when we say that, the bony thing, I forgot the name exactly. So when we have some sort of piece of flesh curving down on the mount of moon on this area, little bit curving down, looping ridge, mount of moon ridge, something it's called something like that. That also tells about the exalted state of your subconsciousness. So yes guys, that was just a basic overview. In this short video, I just wanted to give you a correlation between astrology and palmistry. And definitely, if you are like, whether you are pursuing astrology and palmistry professionally, full-time or as a hobby, so I would say this thing, that start including palmistry in your assessment as well. So if you know that your best friend has got a Libra Lagna, I'm just telling my story. So if your best friend has got a Libra Lagna or moon is placed in the 10th house in the Cancer, how about the palm? Does the palm also tells about the Libra qualities? The palm also tells about the mount of the moon. Do you find the prominence of the moon in the mount of the moon on the palm as well? So that is how you can blend the things. So yes guys, that was just a basic overview on the science of palmistry. For further more updates and notifications on the divine science of Vedic astrology, palmistry, numerology, Vastu, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and follow me on my Instagram account. Dhanyavad.